The Karate Kid Street Rumble on the Nintendo Switch. This is a cartridge that was provided by the Maryland Library System. I can now play mini games. That's amazing. This is a brawler. I believe it's a four-player couch co-op brawler similar to the Ninja Turtles game, the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game that came out a couple of years ago. I don't remember when this game came out. It's a Game Mill joint, so it's one of these budget joints. Yeah, it came out in 2024. This is a Game Mill budget joint. Fair warning, my expectations have been muted for the last hour. I've been playing this game for an hour. I wish I liked this game more than I did, honestly, because I'm a massive fan of the Karate Kid film, the first one, and I liked the first season of Cobra Kai more than I thought I would. Unfortunately, this game is it's what you'd expect. It's a budget brawler. There were dozens of these on the 16-bit consoles back in the 20th century. They were all over. Most of them on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. Even the PC Engine got a couple of them. Unfortunately, this particular game is not amazing. It's competent, I would argue so far, but there are four characters to choose from. Unfortunately, Ali, the girlfriend from the first movie, Elizabeth Shue from the first movie, is probably the worst character in the game. They made her into a gymnast, but she's not particularly interesting fighter to use. Her moveset's basically like Taekwondo meets gymnastics, which isn't very exciting in this game, unfortunately. Kumiko the fan dancer's a lot of fun to use. Mr. Miyagi brings the noise. I'm not a huge fan of his design, but his moveset's actually pretty interesting. We'll start out with Mr. Miyagi, then I'll switch to Kumiko a bit later. Mr. Miyagi is a lot of fun to use in this game, actually. I guess his fighting style is kind of like Gen in Street Fighter Alpha 2. Street Fighter Alpha. So lots of crane, well not crane, but lots of the knuckles, and he has some moves that attack on both sides. So he's going to be useful for us. This karate practice area is a place where you can choose any fighter you want to increase their experience level. It's a Dance Dance Revolution thing. I'll show you this really quick. So you'll get a chance to peek at all the characters, then we'll start some actual combat. It's a rhythm challenge. So just follow the prompts on the left side of the screen. Did it. Whoops, messed up the timing. There we go. Sometimes the timing's kind of weird. Like that move, it's kind of weird, hard for me to pull off for some reason. Like in a real fight, I don't have to worry about this, but yeah, I never understood that. 1, 2, 3. Not working. I thought I had to hold it. See, I don't understand. That particular combo I never understood because it never gives me credit for pulling it off. But I do it pretty often when I'm playing the regular game. Anyway, when you complete this, even if you lose, you get experience points. Now, why do you need experience points? We'll go back to the character selection screen to explain how that works. This game did not come with a manual, as you would expect. I mean, maybe it comes with a manual, but the library version didn't have it. So I'll back out to the character selection screen, which means I have to go back to this controller activation screen. So you can switch to Kumiko, and we can see what her moveset is. It doesn't show her entire combo tree, but it does give you a chance to kind of practice some combos you might not be familiar with. I showed you the how to play menu at the top of I showed you the how to play menu option earlier in the video. So that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. It shows you basic combo tree stuff. And I dig Kumiko's fan game. And there's a trick where apparently we're supposed to hold down the X button because that's your heavy attack. The Y is your light attack. X is your heavy attack. And if you hold down the attack button, you get a stronger attack because you start to glow. Good. Again, these hold attacks just mess me up entirely. Yeah, the hold attacks always mess me up. Again, in a real fight, I don't have to worry about that. I want to say Kumiko. Was Kumiko from Karate Kid 2? Because I don't remember who Daniel's love interest was in Karate Kid 2. Because remember, he and Mr. Miyagi went to Okinawa. Mr. Miyagi never taught him how to fight the spear. But I did think it was interesting that they turned both of his love interests from the first two movies into playable characters in this game. How else are we doing this? Unless Kumiko was, I mean, because I don't remember what her name was from the animated series, because the NBC series, the NBC Saturday morning series for Karate Kid was, I believe, from the same director who worked on the Fox Kids animated series, Larry Houston. I believe he was the director. He was also an anime fan, an old school anime fan from back in the day. So he got a few old school anime references in there just for funsies. Skills. So as I said, when we level up, you see at the bottom of the column right there, you can see that we level up. So we can enable signature moves. You only start out with one signature move mapped to the R button. Here we're gonna map. Here we have two of them, and I'll show you what that is in a second. Gain an extra focus segment. That's cool, I suppose. And when we get to level 5, we unlock another skill. So at level 14, we get extra lives. Okay. Unlock completing every boss rush. Gain 0 damage while under 0. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Ignore first knockout. Heal 10% and gain. Huh. Intriguing. That is intriguing. So let's go back to Miyagi, because I said we're going to start with Mr. Miyagi. What are his skills? Extend the duration of a dodge. Yeah, there's a A button mapped to the. There's a dodge mapped to the A button. Gain 50% damage for 10 seconds after a perfect dodge. Sounds amazing. So you can turn off certain skills. That's interesting. So we'll go with Mr. Miyagi. So I'll show you his moveset, but we're going to start with this first level right here. As you complete the level, they become permanently unlocked. You can change the difficulty right off the bat. So if you want to play like I do on hard mode, you can use left and right on the D-pad. I'm going to choose hard. The hardest difficulties are not available until you complete the story mode on the easier difficulty level, which I do not like. I don't like when video games keep you from challenging yourself. They make you like grind through the full story to unlock more difficulty levels. I do not like that at all. Unless those difficulty modes are actually hard, I'm fine. But if they're really easy, like in Diablo 3, you know, they make you grind through lower difficulty levels before you're allowed to go to the harder difficulty levels. I've never liked that in video games. If I'm feeling confident in my abilities, don't make me grind through lower difficulty levels. This is going to be amusing because, like I said, Kimiko is a character who's available as a playable character here, and these characters that you meet in the story mode will have nothing to do with the character you're playing as. So if I were playing as Kimiko, this particular cutscene would mean absolutely nothing because she's not in the story. And I was under the impression they met on the soccer field. It's been a while since I've seen Karate Kid. Okay, so let me see if I can see the moveset. Here's the control set. Locate self. So you can press the right stick to locate yourself. Yeah, it's cute. Signature moves are mapped to the R button. They show you the basic combo tree on the top right-hand corner of the screen. You have running attacks and grabbing attacks. By the way, where's the timer? There's a timer here at the top of the screen. It's in milliseconds. It's constantly running, even if you're in the cutscenes. Fair warning. Like right here. It's running during this cutscene. See the level time right here? Well, Johnny Lawrence is going to bluster at us. And the timer's still running. So just keep that in mind. You might want to skip through this as quickly as you can if you're trying to speed run. There might be some challenges associated with this game, too, so that's kind of cute. So we got light attacks, and you can see he attacks left and right side simultaneously with his finishing move, which is a great way to deal with crowd control in this game. Again, this character is actually one of the more interesting fighters in this game, in addition to Kimiko. So if you avoid Ali, which sounds bad to like avoid a character that's available at the beginning of the game, I think you'll be fine. But I was worried that when I chose her as my first character to see what her moveset was, I was immediately disappointed. She's just way too sticky as far as her moveset. When your focus meters, the focus meter is below my life bar on the top of the screen on the left-hand side. Below my character's life bar is that purple bar. That's the focus meter. When it fills up and a full segment is full, you can press the R button for the special attack. And as I mentioned earlier, we've unlocked 2 special attacks, 2 signature moves. Each enemy has a life meter below my focus meter, so if you attack multiple enemies at once, you will see all of their life meters simultaneously, which is kind of cute. And this signature move will wipe enemies out in one hit, so have a little fun with that. And some of these moves are pretty simple, like defeat enemies with signature attacks. Oh, these are my skills, okay. So you can see my experience level allows me to unlock other skills eventually. But the easiest way for me to level up seems to be doing karate practice in that stage we just went to. Okay, that was bad. That was a waste. And you can keep that, if you grab an enemy, you can just keep whacking at them repeatedly until they die. So, they don't let up. It's not like in Final Fight where you do a finishing move. Apparently, you don't have to finish off a move if you don't have to finish off a grabbed enemy if you don't want to, which I think is kind of hilarious. You can just kind of keep them in your grasp and just kind of whittle them down till they have no health left. You can also press the heavy attack button to turn the grabbed enemy into a projectile. You can turn the enemy into a projectile by pressing the heavy attack button and choosing a direction. So if you choose right, you turn the enemy to the right and then throw them in that direction. It's not really a body projectile move. I mean, it is, but it's like you're just kind of pushing them. And I don't think it does any damage to them. It just stuns enemies that are nearby. So that's our focus bar I was telling you about. It actually absorbs damage, which is an interesting mechanic here because in other words, it limits the impact of enemies doing cheap shots and counterattacks on you. So instead of doing direct damage to your health bar, they do damage to your focus bar first, which is kind of interesting, but it might make the game a bit too easy. Might be worth testing later. So we'll bash these boxes to get some loot, probably. Doesn't always work. There we go. Yeah, that. Signature move. So let's wipe out this group of 5. And we defeated 5 enemies with a signature attack. Sounds good to me. And there was another signature move. What's the other signature move that got unlocked? Signature move 2? That is hold a direction and press R. Okay. So there's just press the R button with the neutral joystick input, or you press left or right in the R button. I guess that's what that was. We'll test that out later. That 81 hit combo. Okay, so I lost my 81 hit combo. I gotta throw in that heavy attack every once in a while. Okay, towards and right. Towards and R. So that's what that is. So the R button is just the front attack. Towards and R, or left and right plus the R button is the two-handed attack. The two-way attack, apparently. Yeah, that's the regular R button. But if you hold towards and press R, you end up doing that two-handed attack. That one. Attacks both ways. Oh yeah, jumping light attack, jumping heavy attack. And Kimiko the Fan Dancer has a really effective jumping heavy attack. Yeah. So I had to press towards an R for that two-handed finisher. That two-way finisher. That two-way signature move, actually. So there are up to 4 signature moves you can learn, but you have to level up to earn them all, apparently. In fact, is that mentioned here? Yeah, we need probably at level 5 and level 7. Wouldn't be shocked. You can whack these parking meters. If you use your heavy attack as your finishing move, they'll fly ahead. Don't know how much damage they do. And I do like when you do a body projectile attack, any enemy that's near you that gets stunned can be grabbed immediately after that. So that's an interesting wrinkle to add on a game like this. I can dodge. He smacked the, that was the dodge. So I pressed the A button to dodge that. He telegraphed that punch. And I'm playing on a flat screen TV right now with a HDMI pass through, so I'm getting the input latency I want. Good. Good. R. Okay, that was bad, but I'll take it. I meant to do a two-way signature move, but whatever. Good. See, Miyagi's pretty interesting to use, so I guess if you just avoid Ali, the other three characters are probably okay. I haven't tried Daniel LaRusso yet. I gotta try him. He's the last person. So at least three of the characters are worth using. That's good, I guess. real shame about Ali. Cool. Also, her moveset almost feels like an afterthought. Careful. Yeah, you have to use the body projectile to knock them all down. And hold down the heavy attack button for that little atom attack. Let's just whack this dude till he dies. Give him the smackdown. And you saw me build up my signature move meter just by doing that grapple repeatedly. Get me, whack! They got past me. Wasn't expecting that. Yeah, try to throw in that heavy hold attack every once in a while. Here we go. Glad you can join me. Want to learn karate? First lesson is how to take a fall. I don't remember if Johnny Lawrence was on a motorcycle in the first movie, was he? I don't remember that scene, strangely enough. Anyway, I'm assuming there'll be a scene where everyone's dressed up for Halloween. Got it. So we're just going to do the jumping heavy attack over and over again. That's the safest way to bring him down. It'll take about a dozen hits at least, unfortunately. You can do a jumping light attack if you want. Just doesn't do much. Does about the same amount of damage, doesn't it? Yeah. The jumping light attack does just as much damage, shockingly. Huh. Too bad I can't do an aerial combo. Yeah, I can't do an aerial combo. Would be nice. And there's no, like, hold down and press attack jump. There's no jumping. There's no, like, heel kick like there is, or a knee kick like in a final fight, unfortunately. Yeah, I think the jumping light attack is the most effective attack here. With other characters, you need the heavy attack to do the most damage. Okay, he's coming off in the next hit, and he's down. His attacks are pretty easy to avoid because he just stays there for several seconds before he does anything, which I think is kind of weird. But he's really tanky, which is kind of the problem I have with him. Sit, boy. Gonna wax that behind. "94 hits. Highlight your boy. I'm gonna catch these hands." I think it was Roger Ebert who observed that when the third movie came out, it's like these movies are supposed to be about avoiding violence and not needing violence to solve problems. Yet inevitably, every problem that these movies have is resolved with violence, which is notable. It's an understandable complaint after the third movie, where it's like, what's the point of learning all these lessons about balance and you've proven a point. Like I've taught you these skills so that you can fight back and be confident in yourself. To which the response for the first movie was, "What have I proven? That I can take a beating?" So eventually, it comes down to this final confrontation where Johnny Lawrence gets whacked in the face. So, in other words, the film arguably kind of undermines its own message by giving people the catharsis of a bully getting whacked in the face. And the good guy winning and the crowd cheering, which is admittedly look, I'm older now, it's pablum. But I still love the movie. But yeah, it's almost like if they redid the ending so that was a bit more bittersweet and there's actual character growth that wasn't based on the guy becoming an action hero. Yeah, sure. But that's what happened in the final two movies, which got increasingly stupid. But the third Karate Kid movie was absurd. Like there's actually a sequence where they're climbing and the bullies are practically they're going to kill Daniel LaRusso and his girlfriend while he's hanging from a cliff. And the whole point was to bait him into getting into a one-on-one fight. It's like I challenge you to a duel, basically. But the whole bit was like, yeah, I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to threaten to kill you unless you agree to this duel. I think it was like some kind of like contract he had to sign. I don't even remember. But it was like, what kind of story beat is that? Like, admittedly, there was this little cloying bit where it's like Mr. Miyagi's bonsai tree was ruined in the fight. But then there's that whole conversation. But then there's inevitably the whole conversation about if this story is basically like a revenge story from Karate Kid 1, why are they trying to kill him? Like my whole bit was always in Karate Kid 1, the reason it sort of holds up is that there's never a threat that anyone's going to be killed. These guys are bullies, but they're not going to kill him. The tension is not based on whether or not Daniel's going to die. It's based on how is he going to survive? How is he going to handle being constantly bullied? Because I mean that was always the thing about bullying is that you're never really a threat of being there's never a threat of being killed. It's just you're constantly getting beat up. You don't want to get beat up anymore. So you learn karate so you can defend yourself. Not because you want to kill the guys. Or not because you're gonna die unless you learn violence, you know what I mean? Okay, I don't know what's going on with this. How long do I have to hold it down? Like that? So I have to hold it down for that long? That's bizarre. But you see, as you can see, I'm leveling up just by doing this, which is easier than leveling up by fighting. So if you want to min-max, this is how you can do it, I suppose. But yeah, I will practice with her later, but I do not like her character. So we'll go to Kimiko for the next bit. Is it Kimiko or Kiriko? Let me double check. But I haven't seen the second movie I saw the second movie in theaters when it launched. I haven't seen it since. I doubt it's any good. Kumiko, sorry. But is she the love interest in the second movie? But again, I love her fan game. I like that little move she does where she like addresses the crowd and then points at him with the fan. I love that. It's kind of a saucy move. It's like calling your shot, except you're in a robe and you have a fan and you're still it's like a Tekken character who's like she's like the anti-Mao Shiranui. She's not like flopping around with a robe. She's like she's basically to the extent that she could be modestly dressed. She's just kind of addressing the crowd with her fan, and then proceeds to kick your rear end. I kind of like that. I like that flex. It's a nice flex. To the extent that you can flex with a fan, that's a nice flex. In a fan and a robe, that I aspire to flex in such a way. If all I need to do is just show up in a robe and just flex with my fans. That's not an 80s flex, but it probably should have been. Yeah, Johnny Lawrence got his Michael Jackson Beat It jacket. On brand and on point. Okay, so Kimi Kuriko, that's her light attack. And she has her heavy attack. And you can hold down the button until she glows for an even stronger attack. And she also has a little rising attack move where she like throws her hands in the air. So we'll try that out later. You'll recognize what it looks like. By the way, what are the challenges here? Defeat enemies with heavy attacks, defeat them with grab attacks. Complete the level without taking damage. Good luck. We're playing on the hard difficulty level. This game is somewhat challenging, occasionally. But I would say it's only really challenging when you get to the bosses. Although I've been told that's something of a sore point for some beat-em-up fans on Twitter. Yeah, that was the move. The rise up, throw your hands in the air. R button. Okay, let me see what my second signature move is. Yeah, I love that move. Yeah, that's the neutral signature move. No directional input, press R. Assuming I did that right. Let's press toward and R. That's the left and right plus R signature move. That's the second signature move. I kind of like that, but it's whatever. Using your powered up signature move to launch the pail is a cute touch. Oh yeah, the jumping heavy attack. That's a great aerial attack that she does. Dig it. Even my Shiranui can't do it like that. Props. So it's probably the most effective aerial heavy attack in the game. And she has a dashing aerial attack as well. A dashing aerial heavy like that. And if she rears up before she launches it, which is kind of a nice touch. Grapple. Well, there goes my can't receive damage achievement. It's an interesting little challenge, but you know it depends on the kind of fighting game you're playing. Depends on the kind of brawler you're playing. But yeah, she's faster than Mr. Miyagi, so you can use her mobility. That's the barrier indicated by this icon. Yeah, this is basically a monster closet. Barriers can be enemies. So yeah, we have to defeat this cleaning cart in order to advance. Hilarious. Towards an R. You have to get these guys out of my face. Maybe we can throw them into the cleaning cart. What do you think? Let's just get them out of my face. R. There we go. That's one way so you can just whack on this. You can build up your combo meter. Then when the signature move is charged, you can unleash it. Simple. What's with all the preppies? What kind of school is this? That was a public school. Maybe it's a posh neighborhood. Maybe it's like a Winston Churchill High School here in D.C. Yeah, people who aren't familiar with the Fallout 3 area, they're the W schools. There's a Winston Churchill, Walter Johnson, Walt Whitman, and I think there's one other school I'm missing. Not BCC technically, but it's a public school where all the rich kids go. So yeah, it's Whitman, Walter Johnson, Winston Churchill, and one other school. Yeah, Whitman, Walter Johnson, Churchill. Yeah, what's the other frou-frou public school around here? It's not Whitman. Yeah, what's Potomac's public school? Was it Winston Churchill? I don't remember. Yeah, where do all the Potomac kids go? It's like Beverly Hills High School, basically, for everyone who wants to know. I mean, come on, they named a school after, Walt Whitman of all people. And I still don't remember where Whitman is. Isn't it near Bethesda? Yeah, maybe it's Richard Montgomery. I don't remember. I guess Richard Montgomery would count. I don't know, maybe Clarksburg is that new school. Anyway, enough. That's a little Montgomery County humor. Don't worry about it. So if there were a Beverly Hills High School, it would probably be either Whitman or Winston Churchill. The Bulldogs. And I don't remember who the Walt Whitman mascots are. And are kids even allowed to read Walt Whitman's poetry if they're in high school? Now that I think about it. Let's just say Duke could be kind of saucy. I've been told. Actually enough, I've never read a Walt Whitman poem. I've never read a Walt Whitman. I didn't go to Walt Whitman High School. They were just simply I went to one of the less affluent high schools back in the day. So they were simply like the school where the rich kids went. That was pretty much how we treated them. Like we were the hood. We were like the dangerous minds in Montgomery County public high schools, which is an unfair reputation if I'm being honest. Which is just it's a polite way of saying that we were diverse. Just to be honest, we weren't that bad. Like people act like I said, people act like we were like Lean on Me or something in there, like the Blackboard Jungle. Like it wasn't that bad, guys. I survived it. It wasn't that. It's like there were shootings in there or anything. Come on. Don't be absurd. It wasn't that kind of high school. Kids are kids. They beat people up. They bully. You know how it is. You know how bullies are in high school. I survived the 20th century bullying. So I think we'll be fine. How did I get on this tangent? Because, yeah, the Karate Kid was basically the kid, the working class kid moves to a new town. The new kid in town gets beaten up by the local rich kids who are bullies. And he has to learn karate so he can learn the confidence he needs to protect himself. But he doesn't have a dad, so Mr. Miyagi's a surrogate father. So he's the good dad. And there's the whole like conflict between Mr. Miyagi, the good dad, and the Cobra Kai dojo sensei, who's the bad dad. So the whole conflict of the entire movie is Mr. Miyagi is the compassionate wax on, wax off sensei. Like he's teaching Daniel karate without using violence and without being, a bully. But the Cobra Kai sensei is a military dude. Like he's a Vietnam vet. First of all, here's all the subtext behind that. He's a Vietnam vet who comes home, opens a dojo, and is basically the worst sensei. He constantly abuses his students. He punishes them by making them do 50 push-ups on their knuckles. He teaches them how to take a fall by, basically, like I said, like brutalizing them, basically. Like, he'll tell his students to kneel. He'll tell his students to bow, like, before a match. And then if if the kid lowered his eyes, he would then kick him like Tatsu like Tatsu in the Ninja Turtles live action film. Tatsu was like Shredder. He was the evil bad guy. Like Tatsu was like never lower your eye to an enemy, and the whole point was that they were running an underground, criminal outfit that was recruiting kids to being, thieves and such and ninjas. And the whole bit in the Ninja Turtles series was we got a soccer match here. Again, why is Kuriko here? She's not in the movie. She's not important to the story here. So Daniel Russo shows up here to like hand off Johnny to me. Okay, fight him for me, Kuriko. Okay, Daniel-san. Like sure. Whatever, Kuriko. And those soccer balls are instant knockdowns, so be careful. Got me. I think I broke out of it. And he's going down. We got a stun. Yeah, got over that. What? Careful. Oh, okay. So I got stunned. So if I'm sitting there like that, that means I got stunned. So be careful. Okay, so I'm off track. What was I talking about? Ow. Kicked me. So yeah, the bad dad, good dad. So it's like, yeah, Shredder was the bad dad. You know, he was supposedly the cool uncle who was abusive. So you have Casey Jones saying, you think this guy here and that guy, you think all this here and that guy down there is family. So it's anti-gang. So it's anti-gang also. You know, but Cobra Kai was basically a gang. But the whole subtext was this Vietnam veteran sets up this abusive dojo where he teaches kids no mercy. Like he teaches kids to use their powers for violence. He teaches kids to use their skills for violence. So you have Johnny Lawrence here going to the Cobra Kai because his sensei is teaching him, is teaching them, no mercy. And I forget exactly what the reaction was. It's like I think Mr. Miyagi and Daniel visit the Cobra Kai, and they see how he does business. And there's this whole exchange between Mr. Miyagi and yeah, I think the reveal was that after Mr. Miyagi beats him up after the Halloween party, Mr. Miyagi beats up all the Cobra Kai kids, and I think there's this whole exchange where the Cobra Kai sensei. Yeah, Johnny tells the Cobra Kai sensei that he whispers into his ear that apparently this is the guy who beat us up. So the Cobra Kai sensei apparently, I think it's like a pride thing. Yeah, I think it's like a pride thing. It's like I heard like you beat up my boys, like, and I think the Cobra Kai sensei takes umbrage to that because it's like obviously it's an ego thing for him. He teaches his kids no mercy. So losing to this old man probably is a pride issue. Because that's the first day at school. So we'll switch to another character. I will switch to Daniel LaRusso. Daniel LaRusso is going to fight. Hold on. Let's do it right. Daniel LaRusso is going to fight. Daniel LaRusso is going to fight. And he's level 3, so let's see what we got. I don't know what his moveset is, so we'll go to the new stage and practice it. And before I end the video, I'll show you Allie's moveset. Like I said, she's not a great character, if I'm being brutally honest. So you can speed run it, you can go for higher scores. If you complete the challenges, you get bonus points. So if you want to play the game that way, you can. 10 aerial finishers, 10 heavy finishers, 7 signature finishers. Okay. Before we do that, let's go to karate practice. Let's level up a little bit. But again, I'm inevitably going to be stuck on some combo that I can't complete because the game won't give me credit for pulling it off. Not that I'll ever need to do it in a real fight, but whatever. Screw that up. Some of these are easy. I haven't tried doing the signature combo, but it's nice that it's here to teach you that it's available if you want it, like this one. That signature combo. I'm winning. Suck it, Mr. Miyagi. I caught the fly, Mr. Miyagi. But yeah, that was the whole bit in this. That was the whole bit in this movie, right? It was the whole good dad, bad dad. Mr. Miyagi, the compassionate dad who teaches kids skills using, chores, and the Cobra Kai guy who's abusive and teaches his kids no mercy through violence. So the abusive parent versus the compassionate parent, the violent one, the one who raises their children to be violent versus the dad who teaches his child to be compassionate and not use violence. He teaches his kid to be strong, he teaches his kid to be strong through discipline and determination. The bad dad teaches his children to be strong through violence and mercilessness. So there's your subtext for the Karate Kid movie, kids. So now you can go out and write an essay and not use ChatGPT to learn about the themes of the Karate Kid movie. But yeah, there's a whole conversation about the pablum that became the finale that I still love, but I'm old enough to admit you don't want to end your story about non-violent character building with a violent confrontation that ends with the crowd cheering the bad guy getting kicked in the face. Classic scene. Daniel brought out the hose, so he saw Johnny Lawrence in the toilet, so he brought out the hose, and Got Johnny wet. And now he's got to run away. Yeah, this is going to be the scene. You're being chased. The timer reaches 0. They'll get you and you have to fight them. Okay. So get as far away as you can. Finishing fights will grant some bonus time. Okay. Okay. Get moving. Bye. I'm trying to run. I can jump off the wall. That's cute. But I have to beat these guys to leave, I guess. You have to beat these guys to leave. Okay. There we go. Let's get out of here. Bye. Bye. That's a running heavy attack right there. That lunge punch. R. Yeah, gotta use the crane kick. That's how you do that. I can still do a crane kick. I haven't tried it in a while. But your boy spent a lot of time in the basement practicing that crane kick back in the day, man. Your boy's got sick thighs. Oh, I got sick balance. Stay mad. Your boy could do a crane kick. That's probably the only karate move I can really do. Like I definitely can stand on. I could definitely stand on one leg. I'm good at that. Probably can't do it on a pole in the middle of a pier. Like I think I could probably pull it off if you asked me to. Don't have much else going on for me physically. I'll admit that. Bye. We'll use the signature move once we get to the other area. There we go. There it is. I know none of you guys were in the movie, but whatever. We'll just play along. Low narrative dissonance being what it is. Like I said, Kuriko's here, even though she doesn't even show up in the first movie. So we'll just play along. Like Allie's showing up to fight, even though Daniel LaRusso is the only reason why he's there. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I got to do that double dash forward for the running attack. The running heavy attack. And you can juggle enemies in the air, too, if you get close enough to them. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to knock down the gate, right? Yeah, I had to knock down the gate. Darn it, I wasted a whole bunch of time doing that. I gotta knock down the gate. Yeah, so I can do my running punch to knock the enemies down. And of course I can build up that meter, which is what you really want to do. Yeah, get them out the way. Fence is coming down eventually. I'm wasting so much time. Out of here. Careful! Okay, it's down. Let's get out of here. I wasted so much time doing that. Totally forgot about it. Give me that bonsai tree. Bonsai, Mr. Miyagi. Wouldn't be a brawler without ladies with whips, am I right? Well, I'm the Jack Harlow of video games. I don't need no whips and chains. Okay, that was a really bad reference. Yeah, how if you got that reference in the year 2024? I was not expecting a Jack Harlow reference, but here we are. I apologize for the Jack Harlow reference. R. Missed. I can dodge if I need to. Fighter thug. Oh, there he is. Can I grapple him? R. Towards an R. Yes, keep grappling him. How long can I keep this up? Okay, he's going to break it eventually, so there is that. Grapple signature. Got him. Eat it. So I guess the enemy does break the grapple eventually, or at least some of them do. Can't believe I dropped a Jack Harlow reference. But I do like this bit where it's like, okay, you're allowed to run. Uh-oh. Oh, it's on now. Let's go. So I thought I had to keep running until I ran out of time. Okay, that was weird. Give me that. That was a waste. Heavy skeleton. Get no fair blocking. And they're down. Couldn't leave enough. Couldn't leave enough. Couldn't leave enough alone, could you, Twerp? Now you're gonna pay. Urgh. Okay, where's Mr. Miyagi? Well, this is actually canon, so I'm allowed to get into this fight. Whoops, that's not good. Put him in a body bag! That's not good. Skeleton Johnny. Can't grapple him, I guess. Ow. Broke whatever my guard was. Dude's got a staff. Nope. Sorry, son. No fair getting up. Agile skeleton. Ah, look out. Where'd the agile skeleton come from? No fair healing your allies. 4-on-1. Focus bar shields 40% more HP. That's cool. It's a nice bit. Yeah. So I guess this game is better if you don't use Allie. But I'm gonna have to use her in the next stage to see if the game gets any better. I was not a huge fan of using Allie, so that was a really bad choice to use her. I mean, I guess this game's a little bit better than what was that Neo Geo game I played a while ago? The Neo Geo looking game. I forgot what it was called. I mean, my problem with that game is that only one of the characters is really interesting to use. And it was too hard to line up attacks on the vertical axis. So you would constantly take hits because your punches weren't connecting. So you had to work a little bit harder to line up your attacks in that game. In a game like Final Fight and like in Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo, which I have in the other room over there, I'll play that later. But in most brawlers, it's not hard to line up your attacks. But in that game, that Neo Geo looking game, I can't believe I forgot the name already. Yeah, like in Fight and Rage, it's actually pretty easy to line up your attacks. Fight and Rage looks like a pretty good brawler. This isn't on that level, unfortunately. And Fight and Rage is like from 2014. I think it's pretty old, but it's like consistently in the $2 range. Like it's a good brawler from what I've played of it. Although I only played as one character, but I was supposed to muck around with the other two characters in that game, so we'll get around to it. We gotta catch the fly, huh? So go back. I want to choose another character. I want to choose Allie, so we can level her up. Yeah, back out. We'll switch to Allie. We'll end the video shortly, because I wanted to at least get one stage in with each character. Yeah, so she's the love interest. She's Elizabeth, played by Elizabeth Shue in the first movie. Completely ignored. In fact, I want to say when the third movie took place, like, it's weird. Didn't the second movie took place immediately after the first one, and then he left to go to Okinawa. Then the third movie, I guess they broke up off screen. You know how it is. We want to pay. We didn't want to pay to bring her back. One of those things. Gain 8% damage the higher your combo is, up to 200. Wow. And then, of course, she went on to get an Oscar nomination for Leaving Las Vegas, correct? You know, the hooker with a heart of gold, I believe was the term. It was the term that was used at the time. It was a Hollywood trope, unfortunately, but it got around. But apparently, Leaving Las Vegas is apparently a very good movie. It was Roger Ebert's best film of the year, as I recall, the year it came out. Nicolas Cage got an Oscar nomination for that. Probably his best role. Okay, so it's a QTE. Hey. Running out of time here. B. It's a very slow, it's a very slow ring, unfortunately. X. Gotta remember this is a Switch controller, so the buttons are kind of in different places. So I'm gonna win this one. We get one more chance. And I win. So I'll take those experience points. So that's the easiest way to level up. The quickest way to level up, at least. Which might be the way to do it if you don't want to use this character in a fight. Sorry to say it, but Allie isn't worthless in a fight, but she's just not a lot of fun to use. So we'll muck around with this and end the video. We'll muck around and find out if Allie can be a useful character in this game. Yeah, so the other three characters are interesting enough to use. That's good to know. Yeah, I remember this part now. Never end. We'll see how much fun you have, LaRusso. Yeah, never ends. Hey, Karate Kid, you having fun? Encino Boy, not Encino Man. Oh yeah, that was the agreement. So when Johnny Lawrence told the Cobra Kai sensei about that incident after during Halloween, apparently that was the truce. We won't beat you up, but we're not going to beat you up anymore. But you got to come to this tournament and show up, basically. Towards an R. So that's her regular light attack combo. And that's her signature move, towards an R. And remember, she has a running attack. That's a running light. Again, the gymnast moves. And the running heavy is a ground pound like that. Not terribly useful, but it does the job. There might be like a double, like a heel kick she has that I wasn't really able to practice. Is she kicking with her shoes? No, she doesn't have any shoes. She's wearing socks, isn't she? Oh, well. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure no one's going to help us. So in 1984, what arcade games would they be playing? I don't remember what they were playing at the arcade in that game. They certainly weren't playing Druaga, I can tell you that. When this movie came out, I'm pretty sure they weren't playing Druaga. You're like, what would they have been playing? Like Joust? Because this movie came out like immediately after the video game crashed, didn't it? So how were the arcades doing? Yeah, like in 85? Was it 84? 84 was the video game crash. So like 85, they probably would have been playing like what? Punch-Out in the arcade. You know what? Maybe they're playing Dragon's Lair and Cliffhanger. Your boy was playing Cliffhanger back. The first time I ever saw Castle Cagliostro was the Cliffhanger Laserdisc game that I played in the Albrook Air Force Base arcade. I think they had Pac-Land there. They definitely had Two Tigers. I was a massive fan of Two Tigers back in the day. That's one of my all-time favorite arcade games from back in the day. I don't know how to play it really. But yeah, I probably have the ROM. I remember back when I was in university, I got the ROM. And I need to play Two Tigers again. It probably doesn't hold up, but from an 1984 arcade game, I remember having a lot of fun with it. It was that game where you were flying around with what is it, like Sopwith Camels or whatever, and you were blowing up battleships at the bottom of the screen. There were these massive battleships at the bottom of the screen. You had to keep dropping bombs on them while planes were surrounding you. I remember really liking it. But I don't remember anything about it. I don't think it's ever been re-released in any arcade game compilation that I've ever owned. I thought it was a Midway game. Maybe it's not. Make it rain. R. There we go. And we can juggle them in the air, which is always nice. Defeat enemies with grab attacks and heavy attacks. Okay. So again, her heal drop is not very useful, unfortunately. Forgot to dodge. Yeah, that's her dodge. Amazing. Yeah, I like her Chun-Li lightning kick. I think it's her. I think it's what? 2 lights and a heavy. Yeah, 2 lights and a heavy. But again, it just doesn't do that much damage though, so it doesn't seem to be that useful. Like it doesn't seem that useful in crowd control. Like I said, she seems really slow compared to the other characters, and her moves just don't really have that much range on them. So it's just kind of disappointing. So I would say she's the least interesting character out of the 4, which is really bad. No justice for Allie. Like I said, Kuriko the fangirl is a lot of fun, so I'll definitely be using her when I play this game later. Now the major problem with this game is that it's no Shredder's Revenge, like it's no Final Fight. Obviously, I would argue it's no Double Dragon Gaiden. I had a lot more fun with that game because it was less conventional. Because they were trying to do like the whole roguelite thing, you know, adding some loot to it, adding a few more bits and pieces to the game. So I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up. The art is terrible in that game, by the way, but I remember being really interested in that game when I rented it earlier. I'm curious how it will turn out. I don't know if it's a good brawler, but it seems like a more interesting one than most of the brawlers I've played recently. But I am curious how it holds up. It might not hold up at all. I remember there being a lot of options, and the structure of the game with the roguelite bits kind of give it a different vibe than a lot of these brawlers, which are just about doing this for like an hour. The game is just about doing this for like 10 hours. But the game is trying to do the whole Ninja Turtles thing they're trying to do the whole Shredder's Revenge thing by having the objectives during the stages and having the map. You can go back and forth between stages and replaying stages to complete certain challenges. Like, that seems fine. Like Streets of Rage 4, I remember liking quite a bit, but I kind of wanted it to be more than it was, which was just like my impression of Streets of Rage 4. It's that it's a great brawler for 1995, but I kind of wish they had leaned into doing more stuff with it. Like apparently there are like hidden areas in that game, but I remember playing Final Fight 3 and saying, okay, that game's way too easy, and I got stunned. That was not a perfect block, but okay. Ow. And he's down. Guess he's just an elite. But I remember playing Streets of Rage 4 and saying, okay, Streets of Rage, what was it? Streets of Rage 4 like had a couple of like hidden areas, but there weren't multiple paths to the game to my knowledge. Final Fight 3 had that. The main problem was that it was just way too easy. Like you could beat the game in an hour and then complete all of the even on the hardest difficulty level, you can get through all of the pathways through that game. If you discover them all, you can get through them all in like 2 hours. So the game arguably had 3 hours of content. Unless you wanted to get good with all the extra characters, but like Final Fight 3 has some charm to it, but I have to concede that it's way too easy. Like the game just needed way more meat on its bones for what it was. But I appreciate the fact that we're trying to like refine the Super Nintendo brawler, because after how much of I got stunned. I don't know what happened there. I got stunned. Because after the major disappointment the final fight was, I got stunned again. Don't know what's going on. Yeah, why am I getting stunned? How am I getting stunned? Yeah, how am I getting stunned here? I don't know why I'm freezing like that. Dodge. R. I got an extra. The sound effects keep popping off. Don't know why. It's like I'm getting a bonus of some kind. See, I got stunned again. Don't know what's going on with that. I guess when they punch me, they stun me. See, I got stunned again. What was that about? I don't know why I'm getting stunned constantly. Is she just broken? Huh. We're going to end the video anyway. Okay, so again, that was a research stream for Karate Kid Street Rumble on the Nintendo Switch. I think if you avoid Allie, I guess Allie's hard mode. She's the least satisfying character to use. But the other characters seem interesting, so that's good. Let's see what the other options are before we end the video. Let's see what we got. We'll go to the other mode, I guess. Actually, no, it's supposed to go back to the title screen. There we go. What are the other modes? Mini games. Haven't unlocked the boss rush. We don't have the endless mode, and we don't have the arcade yet. Okay, so we'll just do the mini games then. We can go back to Kuriko. She's a lot of fun. Kumiko. Sorry, Kumiko. But again, I love the whole address the audience then whip out the fan bit. It's like it's just an odd flex. But it works. Okay, so that's all. These are mini games for the. Yeah, these aren't the mini games I wanted to do, but that's okay. So let's see how many points I can get this time. It seemed really easy the first time I did this. Wrong button. Should have waited a second. Yeah, I should have waited a second to make sure I got the right button. I'm still thinking Super Nintendo button layout instead of Nintendo Switch button layout. Say I got it. So I'm behind now. That's bad. Well, I guess I'm going to lose. So I get more points based on how quickly I respond. Is that it? Yeah, I won that one. So I get more points based on how quickly I respond. Okay, ignore the first knockout. Heal 15 point, gain 2 focus point segments. That's cool. Of course, you can also turn it off if you want to challenge yourself, so that's good. So yeah, this feels like a C+ game. B- at best. We'll see if it gets better. Yeah, if Shredder's Revenge and Streets of Rage 4 are like a B-, B, then this is a C+. Like if Fight and Rage is like a B+, then this is like a C+. So it's probably not terrible, but I mean, it's a brawler. There were so many of these back in the Super Nintendo era. I don't want to say I played myself out of them, but playing an old school brawler like this is kind of a hard sell unless it has like some real meat on its bones. This seems fine. Like it's better than that Ninja Turtles arcade Wrath of the Mutants crap that I played a couple of months ago. But it's not much better than that. Like if you're at the library and you can't rent Shredder's Revenge, you can rent this instead. You might have a reasonably good time with it, I guess. So I recorded this audio with my Plantronics headset. The Nintendo Switch footage being captured via the J5 Create 4K UHD capture device. It has an HDMI pass through to my Insignia television, so I'm playing this with the lower input latency that I want. But the actual game footage is being captured via USB-C cable to my quad-core Celeron 1.1 gigahertz laptop with 4 gigs of RAM. Windows 10 camera app is capturing this footage at 60 frames a second, so you'll get all the frames in this one. Again, slightly disappointed with this game, but you know what? Playing as the other characters and going deeper into the game, I guess it is better than I thought it was going to be. But I was disappointed at first that Allie would be typical of how the other combatants would play. She's just the worst of them. So fair warning there. So we'll probably play more of this later. But yeah, I wound up liking this game more than I thought I would. But it's probably, if you've already played Streets of Rage 4, Fight and Rage, Shredder's Revenge, this will probably do the job. We'll see how it goes when I go deeper into it. and see how much harder the game gets later.